Hey, okay, so to answer this question, when I only do a 24-hour rate, a discounted hourly rate, if the care is 24/7. So if it's 24 hours, 7 days a week, instead of like if my normal rate or if your normal rate was, let's say, $32 an hour, you would give them, negotiate an adjusted rate of maybe $29 an hour instead of $32 an hour. And that's for if you have a client that's 24/7. You also need to designate whether or not the caregiver is going to have sleep hours or if they're awake. So let's say the patient doesn't require care throughout the nighttime hours, they just need someone to be present for safety, then you would negotiate that because some of the hours for the caregiver would be sleep hours. But if you have a patient that requires turning or continence care or something like that during the night, then technically the caregiver is not asleep at all and the rate would be as such. Now, in your particular case, Delkia, um, for it being 24 hours, only 3 days a week, what I would do is I would then give them what's called a flat daily rate, right? So instead of them paying 24 hours at $32 an hour, you would give a flat daily rate for the 3 days, and your daily rate, a good rate would be a 20% discounted rate. Or you could word it as anything above 18 hours, you get a flat rate, which technically the 20% is kind of almost right at what your hourly rate would be for only 18 hours. So I'm going to use an example for what you asked. So let's say you started with a $32 hourly rate. For 24 hours, if you calculate 24 hours, that would be $768 per day, per 24 hours. But since they're doing 3 days a week at a 24-hour and you want to give them some type of discount, you would offer the 20%. Remember, it's sales psychology. So the 20% off would be $153.60 off. So their daily flat rate would be $604.50 a day, right? That's a 20% discount of if they paid your regular rates, right? Which is also, like I said, right around if they only pay for 18 hours. So you can, again, use your sales psychology and say, okay, because you're 24 hours, you get a daily rate, which is really essentially you're paying only for 18 hours. So anything above 18 hours is this flat rate. So again, you kind of, negotiate it with those things in mind. I do packages. I like to do hourly packages. But again, when you're dealing with a client that's going to be doing anything 18 hours or more a day, you want to be a little bit flexible. Just remember to always note everything in detail in your service agreement. And also don't forget to add in whatever you charge for your initial assessment, nursing visit, and then any stipulations or anything. Also add in there, this is very important, if for some reason they decrease the rates for a particular week, let's say they have family in or whatever and they don't want to do 24 hours or whatever, you have to make sure you have in that service agreement that these rates are at this many hours or above per day. If you fall below those hours, the services are at the regular stated rate. Okay, so that's very important that you have all of that in your service agreement and that you discuss and go over all of these things in the service agreement with your intended client at the time of them signing. Okay, so I hope that helped you.